This week in 150 Seconds, we're talking about exercise. Full disclosure, I received some grant funding to study muscle metabolism. This is a big topic, and we're only talking about one article, but I want to point out that the CDC, the WHO, and the American Heart Association all recommend that adults get 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. So let's say you're going to go do that. How intense should you work? How hard should you exercise? Well, to answer this question, Robert Ross and colleagues conducted an elegant clinical trial. It appears in the Annals of Internal Medicine. They took 300 obese adults, 98% white and all non-diabetic, and randomized them to one of four groups. The first was a control. They just did their regular physical activity. The next group was high activity, high intensity exercise. Think a brisk jog. The next group was high activity, low intensity exercise, like a long walk. And the final group was low activity, low intensity exercise, like a short walk. They didn't have enough patients in the study to look at mortality or heart attacks, so they looked at change in waist circumference at 6 months as their primary outcome. Now, in all the exercise groups, the waist circumference decreased, and by about the same amount in each group, 4 to 5 centimeters. Didn't seem to matter which group you were in as long as you were doing something. The high-intensity group did have better glucose tolerance at the end of the trial, but it's not clear what that means in a non-diabetic population. The high-intensity group also had better cardiovascular fitness, but again, we don't know how that would translate into clinical outcomes. There were some major problems, though. The biggest was the dropout rate, over 35% in the high-intensity group. Now, the authors did the best they could to account for this, but a general rule of thumb is that if you have greater than 20% dropout in a clinical trial, you need to be significantly concerned about bias in your results. The other issue was just the implementation. They brought these participants into an exercise center 5 days a week for 6 months where they were supervised by exercise physiologists for each session. Few of us could afford that kind of personalized attention at our local gym. Now, despite these problems, I believe the results. I think they tend to support what we already believe, which is that getting any exercise is better than nothing. Maybe what we need to focus now is not the type of exercise that confers the most benefit, but how to get people out there in the first place. And maybe more importantly, keep them exercising in the long term. Of course, if I knew how to do that, I'd be in better shape. For MedPage Today, I'm Perry Wilson.